hago cara. Paano ko siya ko cara. Muy bien.
Okay, I got it. I understand.
Welcome to latest Hadzabetribe, a place where we explore the culture, history, and way of life of tribes around the world. Amid the dense rainforests of Sumatra, where the morning mist spreads white like a thin layer of silk, and the sounds of nature never truly stop, there exists a community that has preserved its ancient rhythm of life through many generations. They are the Mentawai people often seen as living with the forest, understanding the forest, and depending on the forest to survive. Here, the modern world seems to fade far into the background. There are no car horns, no phone screens, no crowded schedules. Instead, there's the sound of flowing water, birds calling to one another, knives striking bamboo, and the rhythm of bare feet stepping across damp earth. For many modern people, that may seem like a life of lack. But for the Mentawai, it is a life of abundance in their own way. Morning in the forest usually begins early. The men prepare their bows and arrows, then quietly move into the primary forest. They do not rush. Every footprint, every broken leaf, or every small sound can be an important signal. Before hunting, the shaman performs a ritual to ask permission from the forest. For the Mentawai, animals also have souls. So hunting is not about showing strength, but a part of survival connected to respect for nature. The bows are made from old bamboo, the strings from forest plant fibers, and the arrow tips are sometimes coated with plant poison. They are not only weapons, but also knowledge passed down through many generations. There are people who climb towering trees using only their bare hands to check honeycombs, collect fruit, or search for signs of prey. In the slippery and steep forest terrain, they move lightly as if they have known every tree root and every stream since childhood. But hunting is only one part of life. The Mentawai also clearly understand how to get food from the most ordinary.
Whoa!
By the stream, cut bamboo to make water containers or use it for cooking. Inside hollow rotten trees, they find forest worms, a natural source of protein that has been used for generations. A large wild fruit, when found in the right season, could become a valuable meal for the whole group.
Good?
You eat?
I will try.
No supermarkets, no refrigerators, no packaged food. Nature itself is their food storage. There are moments that make modern people stop and think. When heavy rain falls on the leaf roof, the whole house fills with a deep, steady sound like distant drums. No one feels upset because of a power outage or weak internet. People simply sit closer together and continue talking by the fire. While many people outside spend their lives searching for a quiet place to rest, the Mentawai seem to have always lived inside that quiet. The center of community life is the their traditional house. Is not only a shelter, but the heart of the whole village. The floor is raised high to avoid moisture and wild animals. The thick leaf roof keeps the house cool during the day and blocks the rain at night. The large wooden pillars are carefully selected from the forest and placed into position using experience built over many generations. When new Uma is completed, the whole community joins the house blessing ceremony. People gather together. The shaman offers prayers, asking the ancestors to bless the new home. The sound of bamboo instruments rises slowly. It is not only a ritual for a house, but a way to remind everyone that a home is always connected to memory, family, and the spirit of the community. The Mentawai are not completely separated from production. They grow bananas, coconuts, durians, and raise pigs around their living areas. For many families, a herd of pigs is also a sign of prosperity. But unlike modern industrial farming, everything here happens slowly, on a small scale, and directly connected to the real needs of life. Another special detail is the way they create traditional clothing from tree bark. From the forest trees, they remove the suitable layer of bark and process it into loincloths and other necessary items. What the modern world has to buy with money, they can make themselves with skill and time. That is the biggest difference between the two lifestyles. One depends on the market, the other depends on experience. When a day slowly comes to an end, a simple meal is served on the wooden floor. River fish, grilled food, forest roots, and starch from the sago tree are shared among everyone. No one eats alone. No one rushes away from the meal to look at another screen. Laughter rises between the firelight and the sound of insects in the dark night. In a world that moves faster every year, the Mentawai people choose to move at their own rhythm. They are not rich by the way the modern world defines wealth. But they possess things that are becoming increasingly rare: the skills to survive on their own, strong community connection, and the ability to live in harmony with nature. In a world that moves faster every year, the Mentawai people choose to move at their own rhythm. And if the Mentawai preserve the soul of the deep forest through ancient rituals, then in another land of Africa, the Hadzabe tribe preserve that same primitive rhythm through every step they take across the savannah. The Hadza begin their morning with the wind moving through the savannah and the faint smell of embers still breathing beneath last night's fire. At first light, the men in the camp each take their hunting tools and head out. Their hunting dogs follow closely beside them like loyal companions, helpers, guardians, and sharp ears and noses in the vast open land. We're used to supermarkets, food delivery apps, and refrigerators filled with endless choices. For the Hadza, food comes from skill, experience, and the ability to read the language of nature. They walk slowly, but with certainty. Their eyes remain fixed on the ground. A faint footprint in the sand, a bent blade of grass, a few pebbles recently disturbed. What means nothing to an outsider becomes a living map to them. In an age where we depend on GPS and satellite signals, the Hadza still rely on memory, instinct, and observation to navigate the wild. Following these signs, They skillfully hunt several small birds with bows and arrows. By modern standards, the reward may seem small, but what matters most is how they treat it. The birds are cleaned, roasted directly over glowing coals, and shared equally among the group. No one fights for the larger portion. No one competes. Even the smallest piece is divided fairly. In today's world of abundance, people often have more than enough and still feel they lack something, still unwilling to share. Fire is the center of life here. The way they create it is enough to make modern people stop and reflect. When the ember finally catches, a Hadza man cups his hands and flicks them quickly to create wind. The flame rises instantly. It is only a small movement, but behind it lies tens of thousands of years of inherited knowledge. We only need to turn on a gas stove or press an electric switch. But if all convenience disappeared tomorrow, how many of us would still know how to create fire with our own hands, to stay warm, to cook, to survive? On another hunting day, they leave camp before sunrise and enter the forest, as they always do. But that day, nature offers something unexpected. They discover the tracks of a wildcat. From that moment, the entire group shifts into complete focus. Without words, they move with quiet coordination, following a hunting rhythm shaped by years of experience and generations of practice. When the animal is finally brought down, they carry it back to camp over the hunter's shoulder. There is no shouting, no celebration to show, no need to turn success into performance. Back at camp, everything unfolds naturally, like a rhythm that has lived inside this community for centuries. One person gathers firewood, another prepares the meat. Someone else fills water into a large metal pot balanced over a simple cooking fire supported by 3 stones. There are no complex spices, no modern kitchen tools, only smoke, practiced hands, and the smooth cooperation of people who know exactly how to work together. And that is what makes the meal meaningful, not simply because the meat is cooked, but because it carries the shared effort of everyone involved. They eat even organs, using nearly every part of the animal. Nothing is wasted. Nothing nature provides is taken for granted. It is a powerful lesson for the modern world, where millions of tons of food are thrown away each year, while many still go hungry. But perhaps the most valuable lesson lies in the way they raise their children. Hadza children do not grow up inside classrooms surrounded by walls. They grow up in forests and open grasslands. They learn to climb trees, to start fires, to make small bows and arrows, to watch birds, and to track animals. They fall and get back up. They get stung by bees and learn caution. They step on thorns and learn awareness. These experiences are not meaningless pain. They're the tuition fee of growing up. While many modern children grow up afraid of getting dirty, afraid of failure, and afraid of discomfort, Hadza children learn resilience, independence, and calmness in the face of hardship from a very early age. These are skills no school can fully teach. Looking at the Hadza, the modern world does not need to return to prehistoric life. But perhaps we do need to remember a few things we have lost. To know what is enough instead of always wanting more. To share instead of compete. To live closely together instead of feeling distant while sitting in the same room. To trust our hands and minds instead of depending entirely on machines. When modern humans look at the Hadza, perhaps what we see is not a primitive tribe. Perhaps what we are really seeing is an older version of ourselves, when human beings lived more simply, more strongly, and closer to one another.